Hi and welcome. I'm Sebastian Lindholm, and in this video we'll take a look at how you can create a new component type in Tekla Structures using Grasshopper. So here we have the end goal for this tutorial. It's a component that inserts a twin profile, and if I open this dialog, we can see the properties we can use to change the component, just like for any other Tekla component. So now let's see how we can create something like this from scratch. So I'm going to start here in an empty Grasshopper definition, where I have the Grasshopper Tekla link installed. So from that I can pick a line param and set a reference line in Tekla Structures. And now I want to create a beam along this line, and I can do that with the beam component. And then we can start changing its properties. So first let's pick a profile for the beam. And I'm going to pick an L profile and make it a bit bigger. And then we can set the class for the beam. And its position. And now this beam needs a partner, so I can do that by duplicating the beam component. I now have two beams on top of each other, so I'll change the position for the second one. And here we can see that we need to mirror one of the beams, and we can do that by flipping its endpoint. And then adjust the position accordingly. So that starts to look good, but let's add a few more parameters. So I want to set a clearance between the two beams. And then the rotation. So the clearance works all right, but they rotate in different directions because we flipped the endpoints of one of the beams. So to fix that, we can just make the rotation negative for the second beam. And now they rotate in unison. So that's our definition. And now we're going to use that to create a component in Tekla Structures. So I'll just save this definition. And then we can go into Tekla Structures and open the component catalog. And here we find the Grasshopper component, which has been installed from Tekla Warehouse. So when I open the dialog, I can then point it to the definition we just created. And it will then load in the parameters that we had in the definition. And you can see that they show up here with the default names because we didn't change those yet. But we can already insert the component into the model. And let's try to change the parameters to see how it reacts. And now we can change those names. So we just go back into Grasshopper and rename the sliders. So that's the class. That's a gap. And here we have the rotation. I save the definition and reload it from the dialog. And we get the new names. In the same way, we can add another parameter. So let's add one for the cambering. I'll rename it. And then I feed it into the deforming attributes component. And from there to the beam components. And we save and reload. And there we get the new parameter. And we get that parameter for already inserted components as well. So now I can start using that new parameter on these components that I have in the model. And finally, maybe you want to group these parameters somehow if you start to have too many of them. So let's see how we can do that as well. I'll just grab the parameters I want to group and create a Grasshopper group from them. And then I name that group with the prefix G. Let's call it attributes. And here we can call this the formation. Again, save the definition, reload, and here we can see the new grouping. So that's how quickly you can create your own Grasshopper component types in Tekla Structures. Thanks for watching.